Hey everybody, thanks for watching. So a bit of a different video today because something weird happened this week and someone asked me what my favorite gun was. Now, if you've watched the channel before, thanks for coming back. But two, you'll know that I'm an HK fanatic. I review H&Ks all the time. I love H&Ks. I have every H&K pistol being made. It's been made except for two. Most of the rifles that have ever been made as well. I obsess over H&K. But when they asked what my favorite gun was, it wasn't H&K. It was actually a CZ. And so my mind exploded and I thought I would share that with you. And I'll even tell you kind of how I think I got to this point, because they're all great guns, but I definitely am an H&K nut whose favorite gun is not H&K. Again, I mentioned I have all the guns. I obsess over H&K, have all the firearms. I've flown to Columbus, Georgia to take armors courses on guns that never break. I have all these books that I've done taking classes on to fix a gun that will never ever break in my lifetime. I've got H&K, every H&K hat made. I represent H&K every weekend with H&K shirts. I have more H&K stickers than I have, I don't know, everything. Even have H&K art. Look, you have George Harrison and H&K. What else do you need? I love H&K. But when you ask what my favorite firearm is, it's actually a CZ75. Actually, a CZ75 Shadow 2 is my favorite firearm. So I'll kind of tell you how I got to this point, but I just had to share my dilemma with you guys. And as always, I'd love to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on H&K versus CZ? So the first gun I ever bought, well, the first time I went to a gun store, this was not too long ago, actually, but the world was on fire. People were rioting all over in different cities. It was a big deal, and I wanted to make sure I had a firearm for my family, to protect my family. And so I did tons of research, and the firearm I chose was the SIG 226, the Navy SEAL gun. What can be better than that, right? I went to the gun store to buy it. They didn't have one. But I was determined to bring home a gun because I'd saved, done research, wanted to have something just to protect the family in case I needed it. So I started going through all the guns in the gun store, and the folks at Ozark Armory were awesome, by the way. But I wound up picking up a CZ75 Compact. Put this in my hand. I wanted a metal frame, double action, single action firearm. And this fit the bill. It felt phenomenal. Again, the ergonomics of the CZ75 are fantastic. So I chose this one, started the paperwork, and it turns out this one was designed, or the one they had for sale was for law enforcement only, which I'm not, so I couldn't purchase it, but it was in the back of my mind. So then I kept shopping, and the guys at the shop finally walked me through one, and the next best choice, which was the first gun I ever bought, the HK P30L. One of my favorite firearms of all time. A firearm, if I tell someone they can only buy one, to buy this one. It is the most ergonomic gun I own, very customizable. It is 100% ambidextrous. For a lefty like me, that's important. And with H&K's legendary reputation, it will always go bang. So I love, love, love this firearm. After I bought it, about 2 weeks later, they called and they had a SIG 226 available. So I wound up buying that one too. So I had two guns, and the obsession started. Along the way though, I picked up a third gun, which is a CZ75 clone, also one of my favorite guns of all time. That is the Jericho. It's a steel frame CZ75 clone from Israel. And why this is important, because when I took my SIG 226 or my P30 to the range, I shot the 226, I kind of sucked. I shot the P30, I kind of sucked. But when I shot the IWI or the CZ75 clone, I was shooting the same hole over and over and over with like no skill at all. This gun was incredibly forgiving, incredibly easy to shoot, and incredibly fun to shoot. So it could be the weight, it could be the grip angle, which is, again, this is also very, very ergonomic for a hunk of steel. And it could be the inverted rail system. I do love that on the CZ75s. You can see that the rails ride, or the slide rides inside the rails versus outside the rails like a normal firearm. You can see that the chamber's empty, by the way. So all these guns have been safety checked, internet. So all those things I think combined to make this a fantastic shooter. So then my next gun, I went back to the one I fell in love with at the store, which was the CZ75 Compact. This is the PCR, Police Czech Republic version. This is one of my first carry guns. Again, incredibly ergonomic. It's aluminum frame. It doesn't have quite the long sight radius, so it's not a nail driver like the Jericho was. But I shot this better than my SIGs and my H&Ks. It just seemed to fit well. Now, Along the way, I picked up pretty much every H&K gun that was made. I think I started with the USP, and then several variants of that, the Mark 23, all the things. One of my most prized possessions in my collection is the P7, one of the best guns ever made, I think. Very innovative, and just a gun I am incredibly proud to own, and I love this firearm. So I went through and collected all those. So I have each of the different variants of H&Ks, but then I kept picking up CZ75s. And eventually now I'm up to the Shadow 2 series, and this is the gun that if I had to shoot a bullseye for $1 million, I'm grabbing this gun. This gun has the weight, the trigger is even better in this than the other ones we have. And it's just a gun that whenever I shoot it, I feel like I am something special because I am incredibly accurate with this crazy gun. So fantastic gun. My favorite gun of all the guns I own is the CZ75 Shadow 2. This is a single action only, but I am still an H&K fanatic. I love H&K beyond belief. And you know what? If I had to shoot a bullseye for $1 million, I'm taking this. If the zombies come, which my dog is barking, maybe the zombies are here, I may grab the H&K because I know they're indestructible. So anyway, love them both, love them all, and I appreciate you watching. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing, and I'm going to go get the zombies right now. Thanks.